ये जो म्यूचुअल फंड्स पे ना सब लोगों को बड़ा कंफ्यूजन है। इस पे हम लोग एक बार रिपीट कर लेते हैं क्लास को।
एक ना पैनल डिस्कशन टाइप का कर देते हैं। टॉक से
हाँ
ज्यादा अच्छा है पैनल डिस्कशन टाइप का अपन कर देंगे।
जी जी
चार पांच लोग बैठ के और
जी
एक सेट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस तैयार कर लेते हैं, पहले से सेट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस तैयार कर लेते हैं
जी बस।
और 1 घंटे का टॉक कर लिया जाएगा अपन, डिस्कशन पैनल टाइप का।
ठीक है बस,
Are
क्योंकि
we
मैं
ready?
देख रहा हूँ।
Okay. Pratipal, screen is with you now.
जी बस, हम स्टार्ट कर लेते हैं बस। आई थिंक पार्टिसिपेंट्स 100 से पूरे हो गया, हाउसफुल है हम लोग का। सो गुड इवनिंग एवरीबॉडी। we'll I mean we are going to do this talk again. We did it in the Euro Finance group. I mean, how we classify this as small, mid, and large caps, and what are the fundamental ratios we should know before we venture into any small, mid, and large cap stock investing directly. So this is not actually about this what we say mutual fund investing. This is about direct stock investing when we do direct mid, small cap kind of. So at the foremost, I would like to say that I'm not SEBI registered, and the information whatever is provided here is only for the education purpose only. So you should do your due diligence before you do take any action after this talk, boss. So what market capitalization is? This is actually the value of a company, we can say, like number of shares outstanding in the market. So the shares which are there in the market of a company are multiplied by the current market price of the stock will be considered as a market cap. So this is actually the value. And according to this value, we divide it into the multiple groups of the stocks. So what's next? So like this is one definition which is given generally in the most of the places, though it is not through the SEBI. So this is large cap is considered as any company which has a market cap of 20,000 crore and above. Mid cap is a stock which has a 5,000 to 20,000 crore market cap. Small cap is considered when it has a 1,000 to 5,000 crore market cap. Micro cap is 500 to 1,000 crore market cap value, and all other companies below 500 crore market cap are considered as nano cap companies, or they can say this is a 50 billion. Now this is a SEBI definition. In SEBI, they considered first 100 companies by market cap, whatever is their value. So it can be even whatever is the value. If first 100 companies are large caps, next 101 to 250 are a mid cap, then 251 to 500 companies are small cap, and beyond this 500 companies, all are micro cap. SEBI does not consider a nano cap category here. So nano cap does not actually exist in the SEBI's criteria. Ji sir. Now, the journey of a stock is like we are the urologists, so we know this very well. Like it is the companies they start from the nano cap, all are together. They're all small companies together. Then they move forward, become micro cap. Further move forward, become small cap. Then they take their journey forward to mid cap, and finally they reach to the pinnacle level of large cap. So idea is that if you can identify a company which is a nano cap today can become a large cap tomorrow, that will be the wealth creator. So anybody who has that knack, that is why they say the pinnacle of investing is investing in the nano and micro cap investing. Most of the biggies they invest in the micro and nano cap. But we as a beginner, we should test the waters with the large and mid cap, and gradually we should move towards the nano and micro cap stocks. Ji sir. So these are some features of different caps of stock. So when we move towards the small to the nano cap, the risk increases, risk becomes very high. But at the same time, returns are also very high. So it's a high risk, high reward in small cap group. Liquidity is very low in the small cap group, but and company information is also very poor in this area. But in contrary to small cap, if you go with the large cap, so all are exactly opposite, like risk probability. So risk is low, probability of exceptionally high returns. Like you can't expect Larsen and Toubro L&T to become 3 times in 2 years. Liquidity is very good. So whenever you want to sell, you can sell. Whenever you want to buy, you can buy. They hardly go into these circuits. And company information in social media, in every media, every platform, it is very goodable. And the mid caps, they stay somewhere between these two. Yes, sir. So when we look at these rolling returns, yesterday only I think we were talking in the group about the whether we should go with the small cap, micro cap, or we should go with the mid cap and nano cap. So if you look this chart carefully, this is April 2012 to to July 2024 rolling returns. Now, if we look at this chart, Nifty 50 has definitely performed poorly than the rest two, that is Nifty mid cap and small cap. But if you look at the volatility, it is other two are very volatile, while Nifty moves little less. Look at this small cap, this green graph. When COVID came, it went so down. Otherwise, mid cap is relatively better placed. This pink line. So it is a relatively better place. So we can say that's a much more safer and predictable zone is mid cap. Returns are mid cap, small cap, they keep on changing over. I mean, sometimes mid cap will be above, sometimes small cap will be above. And overall, I think they will give you a more or less same kind of return. If you look at the mutual fund wise, but otherwise, as per stocks also, they are like that only. Next, sir. Now, this is a recently published this data in a recent magazine, Wealth Insight. So they analyze all these companies from March 10 to March 24, and they realize that chances of a small cap company becoming a large cap company are less. But when it becomes like 0.9% only, 0.9% small cap companies will only become large cap. But when they become large cap, they will give exceptionally high returns, like 50% return. But you need to find them. 1 in 100 will reach to this level. While if mid cap conversion from a small cap is relatively high, like 12.7% companies, they become mid cap companies, and a return are relatively less, 35. But if you look at the mid cap companies, say 24%, that is 1 in 4, becomes a large cap company. And when it becomes large cap company, it gives you 28% return. So though the returns are less, like 50% to 28%, half, but chances 1 in 4 to 1 in 100. So that is how it is more predictable, mid cap to the small cap. Yes, sir. So as they say, micro and small cap investing is obviously epitomizes the essence of stock investing, the epitome of investing, but not everybody can do that. And it's a very high risk, very high reward investing. So you must test these waters with caution. Sir, now these are some fundamental ratios for stock selections. Now, what I feel is, to me, the qualitative factors are more important. Like I will go with the management quality, business mode, scalability potential, addressable market more rather than going with the fixed ratios. Because if the management is not good, so they'll always cheat you somewhere. Now, these are certain ratio analysis which are the profitability ratios, liquidity ratios, solvency ratio, efficiency ratio, and valuation ratios. These five are very important ratios which we must know before we enter into any company, and we must check them. Next up. Now, valuation ratios are ratios which will tell us how valuable a stock is. It is undervalued stock or it is a overvalued stock. So they say if it is overvalued stock, you should not buy it. You should wait it for the correction. And if it is undervalued stock, you must accumulate it. The factors which tell us whether it is undervalued or overvalued are P ratio, that is price to earning ratio, price to earning to growth ratio, that is PEG ratio, price to book ratio, dividend yield, and enterprise values versus EBITDA. So if these are there we need to learn a lot about all these ratios independently. So we will have another class on these ratios sometimes. Then profitability ratios are the ratios which tell us whether company is ability to utilize resources to generate profit. So how much money they need to make money over it. So that percentage is important. So if somebody is making high returns, so that is a return on capital employed, return on ROE, that is return on sorry. Boss, cut right. This I think return on asset is not there. So return on asset.
It's
Next
not
slide. Yeah, it's. Then these are liquidity ratios, which tell us about company's ability to repay short-term liabilities, whether it can repay the liability. That is current ratio, quick ratio. There is another ratio is cash ratio. So cash ratio is very stringent. Current ratio is commonly used. Quick ratio is also used. And there is solvency ratio, which tell us about company's ability to repay long-term liability. This is long-term, that is short-term. So debt to equity ratio, interest coverage ratio, these are there. And efficiency ratios, which tell us about how efficient company is in generating profits. That is working capital days, inventory days, and receivable days. These are some efficiency ratios. There are certain growth ratios which tell us about the growth rate of the company. That is revenue growth rate, sales growth rate, and EPS growth rate. Sir. So this is a one table which which we can follow. Like whenever we buy a stock, like promoter holding should be more than 50%, preferably more than 50. Good if it is more than 70%. PE ratio should be either less than 20 or it should be at least less than the industry PE ratio. PEG ratio should be less than 1. Debt equity ratio should be less than 0.3, or if it is debt free, that is much more better. Dividend yield should be positive. And return on capital employed ROE should be more than 15. ROE should be more than 15. Operating profit margin OPM should be more than 50. Sales growth should be 15 to 20% preferably, and profit growth should be more than 15 to 20%. So if a company fits into all these criteria, then we can say it's a good company and we can definitely buy it. If it is undervalued, then it's a perfect to buy and accumulate this stock. So in conclusion, I would say choose among different caps as per your risk appetite, because it is about the risk and the reward. Do a thorough fundamental research before you take an entry and make your own conviction rather than taking anybody else's conviction, so that you can add whenever the stock falls. Approach small and micro nano cap stocks with humility, because they can test your patience as well as test your the depth of your pocket also. They can move a lot at times. They can move 50%, 60% down. Don't be fearful, but be always cautious. Ratio analysis helps us in evaluating the company's health as well as their performance, and it plays an important role in comparison of companies within a sector. Thank you, boss. I think that's all from my side.
Thank you, Dr. Pratipal, for a lovely talk. This was a very good talk he had given during the Euro Finance 2. Now, if anybody has taken a kind of a screenshot of the second slide, second last slide he had shown, that is the second part of this webinar. Let me open up my screen. Now, what is, let me share the screen. You all can see my screen. Okay.
भी नहीं दिख रहा है बॉस.
अब आ गया screen, sir?
आ गया.
Okay, now we will use whatever Dr. Pratipal has said, because the second part of this webinar was finding a multi-bagger which has a potential to convert into a large cap company. That is 1 out of 100, which is going to convert us. So we are not going to we'll try to follow all whatever he has shown in his second last slide is. So we will go to the screens. We'll start creating a new screener. So our first is the current price should be less than 100. So we are not looking at anything which is more than 100. We can go and look at it, but I am personally saying because हम सब middle class के लोग हैं, upper middle class, lower middle class, हम सब middle class में हैं. So we should need some pocket friendly stock. So if we run this query, we get somewhere around 2258 stocks. Now I will ask you all to only say me what was it. बॉस promoter holding कितना रखा था प्रतिपाल ने?
More than 50%.
More than 50.
So we will keep 60%. हम थोड़ा सा बढ़ा के रखेंगे. Now we have narrowed down to from 2200 we have come down to 843. Still too high number for me. प्रतिपाल ने रिटर्न ऑन इक्विटी कितना कहा था डॉक्टर प्रतिपाल ने? More than 15.
More than 15.
We will increase to 25. हम और stringent करते जाएंगे. Now we are close to 64. From 843 we are getting into 64 stocks. So अभी हम इसको और stringent करते जाते हैं. Return on capital कितना कहा था प्रतिपाल सर ने?
ROC. More than 15.
हम फिर 25 कर लेते हैं. हम बढ़ाते जाएंगे. Still 39 stocks. चलो आप बताओ नेक्स्ट क्या डालें?
Profit growth.
कितना?
More than 15. More than 20.
More than 20. 25 नहीं आ रहा अभी भी.
बहुत है.
Next condition please. Anybody please sir. Debt to equity ratio कितना बताया था? 0.3. हम
Less than
हम 0.2 कर देते हैं और कम कर देते हैं. हम क्यों
Less
ज्यादा
than
रखें?
1 is sufficient.
आप देखो 0.2 में भी आपके पास 8 स्टॉक है. नेक्स्ट अब बताएं सर इसमें इजी ट्रिप प्लानर भी हैं. अभी भी
sales
इजी
growth, sir.
ट्रिप.
Sales growth.
हम ये क्यों ना रखें? ओपीएम.
OPM. More than 15.
बताएं कितना रखें ओपीएम? 15 20?
15.
15 काफी है सर.
चलो 4 स्टॉक्स. अब बताएं सर क्या रखें अब और? एनीबॉडी?
FIDI का रख सकते हैं कुछ सर?
चलो एक प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ रख लेते हैं 30 का. देखते कितना आता है इसमें. 4 के 4 ही हमारे. अब क्या बोला सर आपने? FII होल्डिंग.
एक रेशियो. हाँ ये सर FIDI होल्डिंग जो इंक्रीज पैटर्न में हो.
पेग रेशियो कितना रखना है सर? सर बताएं कितना रखना है पेग रेशियो?
Less than 1.
Less than 1. Let's run it. 3 ऐसे स्टॉक्स. सर आपका मल्टी बैगर अभी निकला नहीं है. नेक्स्ट सर.
सेल्स ग्रोथ.
डिविडेंड यील्ड ग्रेटर देन 5 कर दूं? डिविडेंड यील्ड ग्रेटर देन 5 कर दूं?
5%. That is too much.
बहुत कम कंपनी अभी देने वाली है. वो तपारिया टूल्स केवल बच जाएगा.
एक चीज हम रह गए.
Dividend yield positive only बस.
डिविडेंड यील्ड ग्रेटर देन 0 कर देता हूँ ना बस.
जी बस.
इजी ट्रिप प्लानर एंड टपारिया. सो अगर हम इसमें टपारिया टूल्स तो हम सबको पता है इज काइंड ऑफ ए ऑपरेटर स्टॉक. तो
मिलेगा ही नहीं.
ये मिलेगा ही नहीं कभी.
इज ग्रेटर देन 20 कर देते हैं. And we run this. सर ये है आपका मल्टी बैगर स्टॉक. हमने वहां पे निकाला था मदरसन एंड सुमी. मदरसन वायरिंग.
Wiring. Motherson Sumi wiring. It was wiring.
It was wiring.
वो भी स्टॉक बहुत अच्छा है।
Sir, it is very good stock.
यार टूट जाएगा। हाँ,
वो हमने
अब
69
खोल के बंद करिए। हाँ।
पे है। सर दिस इज हाउ यू कैन पिक अप ए स्टॉक। मैं आपको जरा एक छोटा सा एक और चीज दिखा देता हूँ। मार्केट कैपिटलाइजेशन ग्रेटर देन 500 CR और 1000 CR कर देते हैं, तब भी आपका यही आएगा, यही स्टॉक आएगा। आप जरा ध्यान से इसका ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट मार्जिन देखें जरा, जो प्रमोद राय सर ने हमें कराया था वहां पे। इसका ऑपरेटिव प्रॉफिट मार्जिन अगर आप देखें इसका कितना हाई है, 100 रुपए के पीछे ये 41 रुपीज बचा रहा है, विच इज रीजनेबली हाई स्टॉक में है। हाँ, थोड़ा सा भी इसमें एक बहुत बड़ी नेगेटिव न्यूज आई है, ऑफलोडिंग हुई है, किसको गया अभी तक कंफर्म नहीं। कोई कह रहे हैं पंटर वो FIIs में चले गए हैं, कुछ ऑपरेटर्स के हाथ चला गया है, वी आर नॉट श्योर। ये स्टॉक अभी बहुत अच्छा करेक्ट हुआ है फ्रॉम 41 रुपीज टू 34, anywhere around about 30 rupees. It's a good stock to hold on. A couple of members did make a loss. I'm also in loss, but I have added below. जब ये 32 के पास आया था तब मैंने थोड़े से खरीद लिए थे। So मेरे लिए ये stock is worth watching and it's an affordable stock. Being very honest on it, please, before you actually dive into any stock, उसका research जरूर कर लिया करें। और हमारे जितने भी पैरामीटर्स थे इसके लिए, अगर आप देखें, हम क्लोज टू और अपने 52 वीक के पास चल रहे हैं। ROC इसका 43.4% है, ROE 31.9% है। हमने 15% का मार्जिन रखा था, जो उससे ज्यादा होना चाहिए, ये उससे कहीं ज्यादा इसका आ रहा है। इसका फ्री कैश फ्लो इज अराउंड 154 करोड़, अप्रोक्सीमेटली उतना ही इसका प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्सेशन है। आप इसको देख सकते हैं, इसका प्रीवियस ईयर का ROC इज आल्सो 54.6 और इस साल का 43.4 है, बहुत ज्यादा कोई डिफरेंस नहीं है। इसका 5 इयर्स का ROE रिटर्न ऑन इक्विटी इज अराउंड 40, विच इज रीजनेबली गुड प्लेस, जो इस स्टॉक को बहुत अच्छा वेल प्लेस रखता है। और इसका भी 31.9% के करीब चल रहा है। डू रीड अबाउट अ स्टॉक बिफोर यू एक्चुअली टेक ए ट्रेड। ये इसका सबसे बड़ा ड्रॉबैक हुआ है जो प्रमोटर्स ने ऑफलोड किया अप्रोक्सीमेटली 10% होल्डिंग। दे हैव गॉन टू द इंस्टीट्यूशनल प्लेयर्स, दे कैन बी अ पॉजिटिव न्यूज, बट मार्केट ने इसको बहुत नेगेटिवली रिस्पॉन्ड किया है। वी डोंट नो व्हाट वे इट इज गोइंग टू गो इन फ्यूचर आल्सो। सो इफ यू गो डाउन एंड सी पीयर कंपैरिजन, तो ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट मार्जिन अगर आप देखोगे तो बाकी जो सारे हैं उनसे कहीं ज्यादा इसका अकेले का ऑपरेटिव प्रॉफिट मार्जिन है। So इसको जरूर अपने वॉच लिस्ट में रखें, and whenever it gives it entry somewhere around about 30 rupees, do not leave this opportunity to buy the stock. We are done with the webinar part, and I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to stop recording.